Wait for Hank. Welcome, everyone, and to the Oak and Reed and to the former Woolworths building, now known as Rail Trail Commons. We'd like to have a warm welcome for our Lieutenant Governor, Kathy Hochul. Thank you. You've made several trips to our city. We appreciate those trips, but I think you appreciate seeing the efforts that we've made in this community, and you said it's the most beautiful Woolworths building you've ever been in. So welcome family, friends, partners in the Oak and Reed, Joseph Moore, Laura Moore, and Trace Martin, the farmer and baker, Christina and Carlos Garcia, the Painted Horse Chocolates, Rachel Garino, and this is the day we've all been patiently waiting for. I'd like to acknowledge the members of the Common Council that are here this afternoon. I believe the Council President is either here or on his way, and we have a list of elected officials that I'd like to also acknowledge. But before I do that, representing the Governor's Office, Tom Scaglione and Dylan Miyoshi are here. From the county legislature, Michael Paduch, the minority leader, and Joel Sierra, our Orange County legislator representing Middletown. Members of the Common Council, Alderman Joe Massey, Alderman Andrew Green, Alderman Jerry Kleiner, Alderman Drew Jean-Francois, and am I missing anyone? I don't see in the group, along with all of our city officials who are here joining us today. We also have representatives from a representative from Congressman Maloney's office, Maria Ingracia, and representatives from Senator Metzger's office, Max Cardella and Aileen Gunther. I did see a representative here and I forgot who it is, but oh, Rachel. How could I forget Rachel? Jeez. Rachel sends us all the money. So thank you all for being here. And also thank you to all who played a role in the DRI process. From the Department of State, Rosanna Rosado's office, the Empire State Development Commissioner, the names are here on the board, who we all dealt with, our planners, BFJ, to our city economic development team, the architects, DeGrand Lahan, the contractors, Standback, and from our economic development office, I think maybe a special recognition to 4 people who really put a lot into this project. Our economic development director, Maria Bruni, our bid director, John Degnan, our public works commissioner, Jacob Tuil, and our city attorney, Alex Smith. I'd like to give them just a round of applause. Before we get into the Lieutenant Governor, and since I do like to talk a little bit about what we've accomplished here in downtown, I'd like to tell a little bit of a story with a slide presentation and how we came about this day. It was a lot of work. The REDC did a great job, and they challenged communities to make presentations. It was more like a Shark Tank process. It was very challenging and yet very rewarding. This is the July 6, 2016 award at the Paramount Theater, and the governor announced Middletown as being the REDC winner for the DRI and awarded us a $10 million check. With that check came a lot of responsibility and a lot of commitments that the city made to make sure this project worked. The strategic plan was submitted in March of 2017, and it was prepared by BFJ with the city and approved by the state. I tell the story how I thought it was the worst $300,000 that ever spent, and it ended up being the best $300,000 we ever spent, because they really gave us a lot of insight into our community and developed a tremendous plan, not only with us, but with the community and community input. The plan included facade restoration to historic standards, and you'll see several of the buildings on North Street and on West Main and on the square are under construction. You'll see some of them are being completed, some of them still have facade, or still have work being done on them. And this is just some of the buildings that we're working on currently. And you can see the big difference before and afters of these buildings, especially if you've lived in this community. This is all being done in conjunction with the extension of the Heritage Trail into the city of Middletown in cooperation with the county executive. It's also being done in conjunction with the redevelopment of the Middletown Transportation Center, which is right behind us and connected. Everything is connected by the Heritage Trail here. The TOD district, which we focused on in our application, has enticed private owners now to propose hundreds, not just a couple of housing units, hundreds of housing units within the city of Middletown, within the downtown business improvement district. Just right next door, you'll see a project that's being, a floor is being added to a building, and 10 units of apartments are being added across the street, those two buildings, and that's all private money, that's not DRI money. So there's a lot of private excitement, investment coming into this community. Since the DRI was announced, and this is a very important statistic, and I think it sort of brings home what the governor was trying to do. He wasn't trying to just give away money to a community and do a little fixing up. This slide represents an investment or a purchase of over 40 properties in the downtown area since the DRI award. And that properties have been sold, and they've been representing over $20 million in sales just since the DRI award. The private investment in downtown Middletown is off the charts. This $20 million does not include the Tompkins building. This building was empty for almost 40 years. It is now open, about a $2.5 million investment, and is an antique hub and a retail center. Equilibrium 2, the Lieutenant Governor was here for Equilibrium 1. Equilibrium 2 is expanding into a city-owned building that was sold to them, and they are quadrupling their production here in downtown Middletown. The former Classy Leather building on Canal Street is a $3.25 million purchase recently. It's proposed to have 60 units of housing, and also a large, significant part of the building will be commercial. 42 North Street, right across the street, as I said, is given some development incentives. The building that has looked very ugly for 25 years is now going to be restored, and is going to look like this. This is the building that we're all gathered here about today, though, the former Woolworths building. Empty for 20 plus years, and actually would have been empty for another 20 years if we didn't do something, and if we didn't receive the DRI award. The project was beyond our community's ability to fund a renovation such as we've had here. And the DRI really made this project work, and it's one of the DRI projects that were funded. These slides will bring you through the building itself, what it looked like, the construction period. We did demolish about 3,000 square feet of the building to the rear, and that opened up the old Thrall Library that was empty for maybe 20 years also to developers. That building, once we demolished that building became open and was sold also, and now is under redevelopment. This is the process that we did. And this is currently the rear of the building. Across from the rear parking lot, as part of the DRI funding, will be about a 45-car parking lot in which the Heritage Trail will also be going through, connecting to the Coach USA bus terminal. The other parts of the project are the streetscape. All of that is being, it's out to bid, or going out to bid by the end of this month. All of downtown will have new sidewalks, will have all accessible intersections, pedestrian crossings. The money has been combined with other monies from the Orange County Transportation Council. Senator Schumer has also secured $2.7 million in CDBG funds. So we've leveraged all these funds to create an entirely new downtown Middletown. And by the end of 2020, you will see the results. The city also took it upon itself to do some alley redevelopment. Behind us, we're connecting East Main Street to Orchard Street, and we're also looking at other ways to redevelop the alleys that are actually very attractive and will bring a lot of commerce into our community. So we created this beautiful building, and I don't know what I did, but I did something wrong. And all right, forget it. We created a beautiful building, and then we had to decide how we're going to fill it up. So part of our plan was to create this process called Race for Space. And in the Race for Space, We had interviews with business owners who proposed to do something in this wonderful building, anywhere from, we had 4 components for approximately 2,000 square foot units, and they came in, met with a committee of local people, not the politicians, but these are just some local people on the economic development people and others. I think one of the bankers, Maggie, I think is here, was on the committee, Maggie Smith from First Federal, and they made their pitch. And the pitch was, and they're successful people, are the people that are here now. Oak and Reed is, they're 2 chefs. They know the business. They know how to promote. Christina and Carlos have been in business in Hackensack, New Jersey. They'll be opening very shortly across the way. And Rachel has been in business, and they made very compelling presentations to the committee. They were selected. We have leases in place, long-term leases. The city is the owner of the building. We'll be maintaining the building as the landlord. And we are very, very, very happy with the selections that we've made. Of course, we have a lot of people here today. Hopefully a lot of you will be back to support all of these businesses also. It's a big undertaking. It's a massive investment by not only the state, but also by these individuals. These are local business people, and we hope you'll support them. To Lieutenant Governor, the Governor, this was just a magnificent program. We know we were the first in the round 1 to receive an award. Senator Bonasek, Assemblywoman Gunther, Senator Metzger are very supportive of the process, and you have really made a difference in this community. And we have so many people talking about what's happening here, and we're not even halfway through the process, so that's very exciting. So there's a lot to be told. I can't tell it all today, but I do like talking about it, so we'll be making arrangements to go around talking to different groups, trying to promote the downtown, and to try to move things along to make people understand that this city is very committed to economic development and that we need community support in order for these businesses to remain viable. Our dealings with the agency staff at every level has been great. Our local contact, Jamie Ether, Megan Taylor at ESD, the REDC, I don't know if anyone is here. I think Jim Taylor had responded. There he is. Jim, I think we made a presentation to you folks. We made commitments that we would deliver, and I believe we did deliver, and you'll see a lot of progress going forward here in the downtown Middletown. And we're looking forward to more partnerships with the state as this new downtown showcases what small cities can do in partnership with a governor that gets it, and Governor Cuomo certainly gets it, and also the regional council. So at this time, without any further comment from me, I would like to thank Governor Cuomo and Lieutenant Governor Hochul for your commitment and believing in the city of Middletown, and also to invite you up to say a few words. As many words as you want, not just a few. As many words as you want.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and I'm really happy to be here. Not just because I saw the Woolworth store before it became this beautiful gem, but literally because a short time ago, literally within the last couple of hours, I was in a plane circling LaGuardia saying, hurry up, I can't make this. And all of a sudden they said, well, we're being diverted to Albany. So I said, okay, it's an hour 45 from Albany, it's an hour 45 from New York City, let's see if we can pull this off. So when I pulled in right at noon, I said, there is a God. And God wanted me to be here today and not miss this event. So, and I love events like this, Mayor, to see the completion of something that is nothing short of extraordinary. And I grew up, and I mentioned this when I was here 2 years ago, in a community that was just like Middletown, had seen incredible prosperity in its early years, a place like this where the railroads brought a lot of industry and manufacturing and making shoes and lawnmower components and a lot of other good paying jobs for the people here. And then all of a sudden these external currents occurred where we lose jobs from the Ford plant in New Jersey. That was a real kick in the teeth, similar to why I lost Bethlehem Steel coming from Buffalo. I mean, how do you come back from something like that? And I'm also aware that a lot of people used to work in the city of New York, I mean, good affordable housing here, and then there was a residency requirement all of a sudden back in the 80s. So there's just, the history of this community was a lot of ups and downs. And for a long time, like my own, it was mostly down, really some rough decades. And Governor Cuomo saw this, not just recently, but also when he traveled the entire state as a young man next to his father, who was governor of this state. And he got to go to places like Middletown and Orange County and the Hudson Valley and Western New York, where I hail from, and see that New York City is doing pretty good, but we cannot forget the rest of the state. And so when he got elected, he said, we're going to change the whole trajectory of this state with regional economic development councils. And I'm so proud that Jim Taylor is here and the other representatives from the RADCs, and I'm proud to chair them statewide, because that has been the place where we've listened to the locals. Membership is not just bureaucrats in Albany, as well-intended as they are. It is members of the business community, local labor, local elected officials, citizen leaders, all charting their destiny and putting forth their vision for their areas. You do not want to leave it to people in Albany to chart your vision for your community, because each area has such unique assets. The beautiful mountains we have here, what a great tourism opportunity to promote that, and the rivers, and just the natural beauty of this area, plus the resiliency of its people. When people have been down for a long time, and you go past boarded up storefronts, like the Woolworths, like the other ones you saw pictured here today, it sort of takes you down if you're not a strong person or a strong community. But then there's places like Middletown. We said, you know what, there is a competition that the governor says, we're going to do something differently. We're going to say, you compete for this money. As you said, Mayor, that's not a handout. This was, you had to come forth with a plan put forth by your community and supported by your community. That these people have skin in the game, and you have businesses who say, if you give us this chance to change our facades and bring them back to the early grandeur, and to create connections with trails and link beautiful assets, and just spruce up the amazing architecture that has always been there, but sort of lost its luster. We empower people like yourselves to come up with a plan, and you won the very first round. And that is something you're going to look back on and say, that is the day that the history of this community changed forever, and there's no going back. And what I love to hear is not just the buildings coming back. And again, I had an abandoned Woolworths in my town, and no one did anything like this with us. I wish they had. I was an elected official for 14 years, begging for investment, begging for people to come into our community, and we just had a rough time. It's not just the buildings, though. It's also a sense of optimism. When I hear that there's more housing units being built down here, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you probably didn't need housing locations for a long time, because nobody wanted to live downtown. That was my hometown. That was the city of Buffalo. And now there's this critical mass of attractions. And I'm not just talking about equilibrium, although I always say the sign of success of a downtown coming back is a successful brewery. Not that everybody has to drink all the time, because I'm Irish and that's part of my heritage. It's all right. My real name is Kathleen Mary Courtney. It is. But it's also a sign that it's a place you want to be. And it's the millennials who want to congregate with others. It's the empty nesters like myself who want to pretend we're millennials and hang out with younger people so we don't feel like we're getting older. And all of a sudden, downtowns are cool again. And you have capitalized on that wave. And we all remember the time when suburbanization had its impact on this area and other areas. And the dream of the American dream was really like, I want to live in the suburbs with my picket fence. I want to be away from people. I want to be out there. Now people want to be here. And that's what this opportunity has given you. The chance to have the resources, once in a lifetime opportunity to say, here's an infusion of money that could have taken years to amass, but here you have it all at once. And now there's a place that people want to congregate, that businesses want to open up. And the investments that you spoke about, Mayor, the other projects, this is what it's all about. It's not just the government money. It is also saying, we'll go in first, but private sector money always follows, because they can smell success, and they want to be part of this. And so to all of you who are involved, your entire team, Mayor, I know you put your heart and soul into this, and not just winning it, because that was just the beginning of the hard work and the long hours that had to go into it. So people like Maria Bruni and others who are really working so hard, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for caring enough about your community that I can come back just within a short span of time and literally see and feel a transformation. And I will say that it's not just the buildings, it's not just the projects, but you will see a shift in people's attitudes, a sense of optimism that the better days do lie ahead. They're not in the past. And that's what we've accomplished with this today under your leadership, Mayor, and the team that you've assembled and all the elected officials here. And I do want to thank my partners in government. Again, I come out of local government. My heart is with the local officials, because I know when you go to the grocery store, everybody tells you about the sewer backed up and all the snow plows that aren't taking care of it, that may have hit their mailbox. I'm from Buffalo. I always heard about the snow plows hitting mailboxes. And thank you for running for office, being local leaders, and being part of the success story. And also our partners in state government. I know Senator Metzger and Senator Gunther would have been here, but I believe they had some hearings in Albany, and our Congressman Maloney is so supportive. This is what it takes. It takes a village to help build a city like this. And I say congratulations from the governor and myself, and to all the other communities that are looking to apply. And I've said this before, round 5 is coming up. We just announced round 4. Go back to places like Middletown. Go see what their formula for success was. Go ahead and replicate it, because I want to see communities like this coming back in every corner of the state, and we're starting to. There are now 40 communities in the state of New York that just a few short years ago were continuing on the same trajectory. They were not going up, they were just staying here. And now we've turned them around, and we're going to continue under our administration to keep it going. So I want to thank everyone involved. I want to thank the governors, regional reps, Tom and Dylan, incredible individuals who always work so hard. And to everyone in this room, you're in this room because you care and you love your community. And I hope that today, with the opening of these new businesses, I mean, how can you go wrong with another chocolate shop? I mean, I love chocolate shops coming to town, and the Painted Horse and the Farmer and Baker. I mean, food and breads. I mean, breads and chocolates in a restaurant. I will be back here again. And maybe we'll tip a few since Equilibrium and your other businesses are doing so well. That's another story. But I'm looking forward to it. And I thank the investors, the business people who are really the pioneers, the ones who make the difference, because elected officials can say we want a community to be like this, but if we don't fill this space with diverse, interesting retail, then we've missed our opportunity. And what we're opening here in this incredible space with the restaurants and the little shops is just going to change this area forever. So as you can tell, I'm excited. I love this project. To me, this is the most significant thing we do in state government, is to help bring back communities like Middletown, and you've done it here, so congratulations.
Now we'd like to bring up one of the proprietors of the establishment that you're in here. Joseph Moore is one of the 3 owners, as I mentioned, and he's a chef, but he'll tell you about himself and about his business. And Joseph, please come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Moore, and on behalf of the team at Open Read, we want to welcome you to the Rail Trail Commons, and more specifically, our restaurant. When I went away to college, being a New Yorker carried a certain amount of pride to it. Our name tags for our chef coats even displayed where we came from. This was a great icebreaker, and considering I was in New England surrounded by pesky Patriot and Red Sox fans, it often created a quick jumping point to some playful banter. But people would often ask me, whereabouts in New York? Therein lied the problem. Have you ever heard of Bullville? No? All right, how about Middletown? Yeah, something familiar. Having grown up just a few minutes from downtown Middletown, I have a unique perspective on how the city has evolved. Middletown, for all intents and purposes, was the epicenter of everything. Let's face it, unless you needed pizza or gas, Bullville probably was not going to cut it. We would often make our way to Middletown, moseying down the streets, running various errands, all the while a young me would take it all in from the back seat. The city has definitely had its ups and downs, but it's becoming quite apparent there is definitely something happening downtown. We can all kind of feel it. More and more entrepreneurs are taking a leap of faith on a city that's ready for a renaissance. What really strikes me is how unified and supportive all of our local businesses have been. Everyone is doing their part to make Middletown a diverse, interesting, and fun place to be. The Downtown Revitalization Initiative was a catalyst to help continue the economic support, economic stimulation, and for that, I can personally say that we're thankful for the opportunity. We have Governor Cuomo and his administration To thank for choosing Middletown in the first round of the Revitalization Initiative. As I mentioned, the DRI project lit a spark to help move the city forward in a positive direction. We also want to thank Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul for her support and for making her way to Middletown to see what good work we have done. And on a personal and professional note, we would like to also thank Mayor DeStefano, Maria Bruni, Caitlin McNamara, and Patty Racine for being so supportive during the build-out process. To our contractors and architect neighbors present, thank you for doing what you do and for helping to make our dream a reality. Finally, to our parents, thank you for everything you've ever done and for your unwavering support. We love you. The Hudson Valley is a beautiful place to live. More and more families are making the move and realizing that the beauty and the bounty of our state extends far north of New York City. I'm proud to be from Orange County, and we as a restaurant are proud to be able to highlight and utilize the abundant resources that our state has to offer. My wife, our partner Trace, and I would all like to welcome you to our restaurant and hope you enjoy some great local libations and a taste of what's to come. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Okay, our last official act of the day before we enjoy what you were mentioning, the libations, is the ribbon cutting. So we're going to do it out in the hall here. So you're all welcome to join us out in the hall.
All right, Governor, you want to do the countdown? All right, folks, when you get to 3, everyone make sure you're looking up and looking at the cameras.
And smiling.
On 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.